Yarrney.
Hello, welcome to Yarrney. In this tutorial, you will learn how to make this 3D letter Q. So the stitches you will need to know for this project are basically the slip knot and chain, the single crochet, the increase technique, and the decrease technique. So if you're unfamiliar with any of these stitches and technique, don't worry, I will go slow at least once in this tutorial so you can follow along. Otherwise, we do have very slow and detailed tutorial on the Yarrney channel that you can watch. Now in terms of material, I will use this Big Twist Posh yarn. It's a bulky number 5 weight. If you're using a different yarn, it's perfectly fine. If it's a bigger yarn, the project will simply be bigger. If it's a smaller yarn, the project will simply be smaller. Now, of course, I will need crochet hook. So I'm using a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook to go with my yarn. If you're using a different yarn, just make sure the hook size works with the yarn you're using. Now, some scissors to cut your yarn needle. Don't worry, there's no sewing. It's just at the end to hide the tail end of the yarn. Now, you will need some stuffing. So make sure you have fiber fill or anything other that you have, like cotton balls, anything you can fill the middle so you can have this 3D effect. In order to do the 3D letter Q, we will need 2 of these flat letter Qs, and then we will merge them together, stuffing the middle, and we will do single crochet all around to basically merge the 2 pieces. And the letter Q is worked in 4 parts, which is why you see a lot of these little tails. So let's get started. As a starting point, we will do a slip knot and chain foundation. So to do the slip knot, you take the tail end of your yarn, you wrap it around your index finger, and then you bring it on top of your working yarn like this. The working yarn is the side that's attached to your ball of yarn. So then you take the working yarn, you do a loop on your finger as well, so you have 2 loops. Now you take the back loop of your finger forward, and then you have your slip knot. Just tighten it. Then you insert your hook. You tighten the slip knot on the hook, and we're ready to do the chains. So we would do 13 chains. So to do a chain, you wrap the yarn around your hook like this. You just pull the yarn with your hook through this loop on the hook here. So that's 1 chain. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So now we're ready to do our row number 1. So row number 1, we will start with an increase stitch. An increase stitch means we will do 2 stitch in 1. So since we're working on the foundation chain, we will start with the second chain from the hook. So the loop on the hook here does not count as a chain. You have a first V formation here, which is the first chain from the hook. We will skip that one. We will go to the second V formation, which is the second chain from the hook. So we will insert 2 single crochet in this second chain from the hook, which will be our increase stitch. So to do a single crochet, you insert your hook in the second chain from the hook. Then you pull the yarn back through the chain. So you have 2 loops on your hook, wrap the yarn around your hook, pull it through both loops. That is 1 single crochet, and you insert a second one in the exact second chain from the hook where we inserted our first single crochet. So this is our increase stitch. Now in the next 10 stitch, so in the next 10 chains, we will do 1 single crochet per chain. So very easy and straightforward. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So then you will notice that at the end here, there is 1 stitch that we haven't worked on. So this one will be an increase stitch again, meaning you insert 2 single crochet in this last chain. So 1 and 2 here. So this is our row number 1 completed. Then in between each row, we will chain 1. It will serve as our turning chain. We will turn our project around, and we will work always from the right to the left. This turning chain here does not count as a stitch. Now row 2, at the first stitch here at the very base here, not counting the chain here. So this first stitch, we will do an increase stitch again. So 2 single crochet in the same stitch. Then we will do 12 single crochet, so 1 single crochet in each of the next 12 stitch. This is my 11 and I'm doing my 12 here. And you will notice at the very end, there is one stitch that we have not worked on. So this stitch here will be an increased stitch. So we're inserting 2 single crochet in this last stitch. So 1 and 2. Now we will chain 1 because our row 2 is done. Turn our project around. For row 3, again, we will start with an increased stitch. So 2 single crochet basically in the same stitch. And then in the next 14 stitch, it's just going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch. My number is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Now this very last stitch here, we will do an increased stitch, so 2 single crochet in the same stitch. And this is not the end of row 3. So after this, we will just do 7 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So this will mark the end of row 3. Now we turn our project around as usual. And then for row 4, we will start from the second chain from the hook. So again, the loop on the hook doesn't count as a chain. So we have the first V formation from the chain, which you will from the hook, which we will skip. Second chain from the hook is this one here. You will insert your first single crochet in the second chain from the hook. And then you just continue 1 single crochet. Basically, we're doing 23 single crochet in total. So we just did 2. So we just continue doing that. So we're at number 3 here. 4, five, and then 6. So you have 6 single crochet in this chain portion. Then you're back on this solid portion here, doing your 7 single crochet. And then 8. 9, 10. 11 and 12. So I'm at 22 here, then 23. So after the 23rd, you will have one stitch that is not worked on. This last stitch will be an increase stitch. So 2 single crochet in the same stitch. 1 and 2. And this is the end of row number 4. Now we will chain 1, turn our project around. For row 5, we will start with an increase stitch. So 2 single crochet in the same stitch. This first stitch here. So 1 and 2. Then we will do 22 single crochet, 1 in each of the next 22 stitches. So here's my 22nd that I'm doing right now. And you will see there is 2 stitches left at the very end of the row here. So these 2, we will do a decrease stitch, meaning we merge the last 2 stitches together. To do that, you insert your hook in the next stitch. Then you pull the yarn back through the stitch. Then now you insert your hook in the very last stitch. And then you pull the yarn back through this last stitch. So now you will have 3 loops on your hook. Wrap the yarn around your hook, you pull it through all 3 loops, and this is your decrease stitch. And this is row number 5. Now we chain 1, turn the project around. Again, we will start with a decrease stitch, so merge the first 2 stitches together. And then in the next 22 stitches, it's just 1 single crochet in each stitch. So I'm doing my 22nd here. And now you will have 1 stitch that is not worked on at the very end. This will be an increase stitch, so 2 single crochet in the same stitch here. So 1 and 2. And this is the end of row 6. Now we chain 1, turn our project around. Row 7, it's very straightforward. It's just 1 single crochet in each stitch, and you should have a total of 25 single crochet. So I'm just doing my last here, this 25th single crochet to end row number 7. Now we chain 1, turn our project around. Row 8 will be a pretty short row. So actually for row 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, it's going to be pretty short rows. So row 8, we will do an increase as a first stitch. So 2 single crochet in this very first stitch here. And then we will do 7 single crochet, so 1 in each of the next 7 stitch. And then we will do a decrease stitch. So the next 2 stitch here after the 7th single crochet, we will merge together to decrease here. And this is basically the end of row 8. Now we chain 1, turn our project around. So now we will do an increase stitch. So 2 single crochet in the first stitch. And then we will do 8 single crochet, 1 in each of the next 8 stitch. And then the very last stitch will be an increase stitch, so 2 single crochet in this last stitch. And this is end of row number 9. Now we chain 1, turn our project around. For row 10, we will start with 11 single crochet, so 1 single crochet in each of the first 11 stitch. I'm doing my 11th stitch here, and then you will have 1 stitch that is not worked on at the very end. This last stitch will be an increase stitch, so insert 2 single crochet in this very last stitch. Now we chain 1, turn our project around. For row number 11, we will start with an increase, so 2 single crochet in this very first stitch. And then we will do 2 single crochet, so 1 in each of the next 2 stitch, 2. And then we will do a decrease stitch, so merge the next 2 stitch together. And that is row number 11. Now we chain 1, turn our project around. So we will do row 12 with a decrease stitch, so merge the first 2 stitch together. And then we just do 3 single crochet, 1 in each of the next 3 stitch. And this will basically be the end of row 12. So now this is the end of the part 1, and we can basically cut the yarn at this point because we will have to start at another section. So it doesn't need to be too long. And then you just pull the yarn with your hook like this. This will secure the stitch, and we can move on to part 2. So part 2 will be very straightforward. We're just going to work on this little portion of the queue going up. So you have your project looking like this after part 1. What you're going to do is basically at the very first stitch here at this portion, so if you count, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so 8 stitches. So each stitch is represented by a V formation, so just make sure you have 8 stitch here. And at the very first stitch here, insert your hook under the stitch. Then you will take your yarn, just wrap it around your hook and pull the yarn through the stitch here. And you will just use your fingers to make sure the yarn, the loose part here is stable, and then use the other to do your tension as usual. And then we would just do one chain like this. And then in this very stitch where you pull the yarn, so this is our first stitch, we will just insert one single crochet. So right where you pull the yarn through, so we just insert one single crochet, and then you just continue one single crochet in each of the next 7 stitch. So row 1, basically you should have 8 single crochet. So I'm doing my number 2 here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And this is row number 1. So you chain 1 as usual in between each row, turn your project around. So basically row 2 all the way to 11, it's the exact same thing. It's just 8 single crochet in each stitch. So you just do 1 single crochet in each stitch, 8 single crochet in total for the row. So you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is the end of row 2. So you chain 1 in between each row, turn your project around. So just go ahead and do this 8 single crochet in each row all the way until you reach row 11. So we already completed 2 rows. So you're basically starting row 3, and you just add on more rows until you reach row 11. And make sure to not forget to chain 1 in between each row, and I'll meet you here to do row 12. So I'm at my last stitch of row 11 here. And once we're completed that, you will chain 1, turn your project around. For row 12, which is the last row of this part 2 here, we will start with an increased stitch. So insert 2 single crochet in this very first stitch. So 1 and 2. And then we will do 5 single crochet, so 1 in each of the next 5 stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the last 2 stitch here, you will do a decrease, so merge the last 2 stitch together. And this is row number 12. At this point, we can cut the yarn because row part 2 is basically completed. Doesn't need to be too long here. And again, you will pull the yarn with your hook like this to secure the stitch. And we can move on to part 3. So after part 2, your project looks like this. For part 3, we will turn the project around so that this longer piece here is facing the left. And in this portion here, we will count 11 stitch. So you remember that each stitch is a V formation. So you count 11 V formation. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Under the 11th stitch, insert your hook. And then you will take your yarn and again just wrap it around your hook and just pull it through the stitch, the 11th stitch here. Use your finger to hold the yarn still here. And then the first stitch will basically be a decrease stitch. So we're not going to work a stitch under this 11th stitch where we pull the yarn. We will start with the first stitch, the next one here, and the second here. So these 2 here, we will be merging them together with a decrease stitch. And then you can just pull on to this tail here to make the stitch tighter. And then the next 8 stitch, it's just 1 single crochet in each stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. and this is row number 1 of part 3. Then we will chain 1, turn our project around. For row 2, we will start with an increased stitch, so 2 single crochet in this first stitch. So 1 and 2. And then we will do 6 single crochet, 1 in each of the next 6 stitch. Three, 4, 5, and 6. And then the last 2 stitch here, we will just merge them together, doing a decrease stitch. And this is row number 2. Now chain 1, turn our project around. Row 3, we start with a decrease stitch, so we're merging the first 2 stitch together. And then we just do 7 single crochet, 1 in each of the next 7 stitch. Now we chain 1, turn our project around. For row 4 all the way to 14, we're basically doing the exact same thing as we did on this side. It's just 8 single crochet in each stitch for each row. So 8 single crochet per row. So you just do that. So this is row number 4 here. 1 single crochet in each stitch. So 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is the end of row 4. And then chain 1, turn your project around, and you just continue. So continue on row 5, 8 single crochet all the way until you reach row number 14. So go ahead and do that, 8 single crochet in each row until you reach row 14. And don't forget to chain 1 in between each row, and I'll meet you here to do row 15. So I'm at my last stitch of row 14 here. Once that is done, chain 1, turn your project around. Row 15, we will start with an increased stitch. So 2 single crochet in this first stitch. Then we will do 5 single crochet, 1 in each of the next 5 stitch. Then you do a decrease stitch for the last 2 stitch, so merging the last 2 together. And this is row 15. Now chain 1, turn our project around. Now we will start row 16 with 7 single crochet, so 1 in each of the first 7 stitch. Then we will do an increase stitch here, so 2 single crochet in this last stitch here. And this is not the end of row 16. What we're doing next is basically merging. We're going to reach the other side here. To do that, we will do 8 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then you go take the other side here, and you will do an increase stitch as the very first stitch of this other side. So 2 single crochet in this very first stitch. So 1 and 2. Then you will do 7 single crochet, 1 in each of the next 7 stitch. And this is the end of row 16. Chain 1, then turn your project around. So for row 17, we will start with a decrease stitch. So merge the first 2 stitches together, like this here. And then in the next 22 stitch, we will do 1 single crochet in each stitch. Now remember, you have this chain portion here. So what's going to happen is you will basically do 7 single crochet in this solid portion. Then you have 8 single crochet in this chain portion. Then another 7 single crochet in this other solid portion. So by doing that, you will reach 22 single crochet. So have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you're at the chain portion, so make sure you do 8 single crochet in this chain portion here, 1 in each chain. Then now you're reaching the other solid portion, so you have 7 single crochet in this solid portion here. And that will yield to your 22 single crochet, and then you will have 2 stitches left at the end, which will be a decrease stitch, merging the last 2 together. And this is row number 17. Now we chain 1, turn our project around. Row 18, again we start with a decrease stitch, so merge the first 2 stitches together, and then you will just go on and do 20 single crochet, 1 in each of the next 20 stitches. And then you'll have 2 stitches left at the end, which will be a decrease stitch, merging the last 2 together. And this is row 18. Chain 1, row 19, decrease stitch first, so merge the first 2 together. Then in the next 18 stitches, you just do 1 single crochet in each stitch. And in the last 2 stitches here, just merge them together with a decrease stitch. And that is row 19, chain 1, turn your project around. Row 20, you start with a decrease stitch, so merge the first 2 together. And then in the next 16 stitch, you will do 1 single crochet in each stitch. So I just did my 16, and then you will have 2 stitches left at the end. Just merge the last 2 together with a decrease stitch. And this is row number 20. Then you will chain 1, turn your project around. Again, you will start with a decrease stitch, so merging the first 2 together. And then in the next 14 stitch, it's just 1 single crochet in each stitch. So after the 14th single crochet, you have 2 stitches left. Just do a decrease stitch, merging the last 2 together. And this is row number 21. Chain 1, turn your project around. Row 22, you start with a decrease stitch again, so merging the first 2 stitches together. And then in the next 12 stitches, you just do 1 single crochet in each stitch. So after the 12th single crochet here, you have 2 stitches left here. You will do a decrease stitch, merging the last 2 together. And this will be row number 22. And then you chain 1, turn your project around. And the last row of part 3, which is row 23, again, you will start with a decrease stitch, merging the first 2 stitches together. Once that is done, in the next 10 stitch, you just do 1 single crochet in each stitch. And then you will have 2 stitches left at the end. Here you will do a decrease stitch, so merge the last 2 together, and this is the end of part 3 and the end of row 23. Now you can cut your yarn, doesn't need to be too long. Pull the yarn with your hook like this. And then we are basically ready to move on to part 4, which is the last part of the queue here. It's just going to be a very quick part. It's just going to be this little tail here that we're going to do. So for part 4, your project currently looks like this after part 3. Just turn it upside down like this. And we will work this little tail here. And this portion here is basically from that part 1 where we worked this portion here and we did 6 chains. So you will basically count the chains. So you can insert your hook under each stitch to make sure what is a stitch. So you have 1 chain here, 2 here, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So insert your hook under this 6th chain here. Then take your yarn and wrap it around your hook and pull it through this chain. And then use your finger to stabilize the yarn and do your tension. And then we will start with a 1 chain, and our first stitch will be a decrease stitch, and we will basically insert our hook exactly under this chain where we just pulled the yarn through. So this is the decrease stitch here. Pull the yarn back through this chain and insert your hook in the next second chain here, and pull the yarn through, and you do your decrease. Then you can just pull onto this little tail here to tighten the stitch. Then we will do 3 single crochet, so 1 in each of the next 3 chains here. So 1, 2, 3. You might use your finger to guide your hook. And then you will have 1 last chain. Here at the very end, you will do an increase stitch. So 2 single crochet in this last chain. So 1 and 2. And this is row number 1. Now you chain 1, turn your project around. We will do basically 6 single crochet. So 1 in each of the 6 stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then you will chain 1, turn your project around, and this is the last row of this part 4 here. You will start with a decrease, so merge the first 2 stitches together. And then you just do 4 single crochet, 1 in each of the next 4 stitches. 2, 3, and 4. So now don't cut your yarn yet. This is basically the end of part 4, and we've basically completed our letter Q. So it's upside down, but there's 2 options going forward. So if this is the first flat letter Q you did, you need to do another one. So if that's the case, you can go ahead and just cut your yarn not too long and do like we usually do, pull the yarn with your hook like this to secure the stitch. But if this is your second letter Q, like I have another one here, you do not cut your yarn, because we will just use the yarn to do single crochet all around the edge to merge the 2 together. So at this point, you take your 2Q, you put 1 on top of each other. You make sure it's perfectly aligned. So then you insert your hook where we left off in part 4. And all you have to do, when it's perfectly aligned, you just insert your hook in the next stitch from one side to the other, and you do single crochet. So this will make sure that the 2 sides are merging together, just like this. And then you just go all around this project with single crochet, just like I'm doing here. So this might take a little while here to go all around the edge. So go ahead and do that all around, and then I will meet you back to do this middle portion here to shut the middle. And by the way, if you have pieces of yarn here like this that are on the outside, just use your hook to pull the yarn inside the project like this. Just insert your hook underneath here and pull the yarn inside, and do this for all the pieces that are showing on the outside. So once you've gone through all around the outside with single crochet, merging the 2 pieces, we're just going to do a slip stitch. So insert your hook in the next stitch, pull the yarn through the stitch and through the loop on the hook here, and then you can cut your yarn, doesn't need to be too long. Pull onto the yarn to secure the stitch, and at this point, this tail, you can go from the inside and pull the tail in so it doesn't show on the outside of the project. And then we can do the inside here. So before we do the inside, or during the merging of the inside piece here, you just want to make sure that you will stuff your project. You can use fiber fill or anything, because once you shut the middle, you will not be able to fill your project, and it won't be 3D effect. So I like to start, if you look at the letter Q here, I like to start in this little corner because it's easier to align. So you just basically insert your hook in this corner from one end to the other, like this. So once you have from one side to the other, take your yarn and again pull the yarn through with your hook on both sides here. And this will be our working yarn that we will be using. Use your tension and use your finger to hold the yarn still, and you just continue merging the two sides with single crochet like this. So this is how you start shutting the middle. And you just go all around the inside. And like I said, all these pieces of yarn, make sure they are put inside the project before you shut the project, so that we don't see it on the outside. And make sure you stuff your project with fiber fill or anything you have, so that we have the 3D effect. So I'll meet you back here once we've gone all the way around, just to show you how to end the project. So once you've gone through all the way inside, to end the project, we will do a slip stitch again. So you just insert your hook in the next stitch, pull the yarn through the stitch and through the loop on the hook. This will be the final stitch. Once that is done, you just cut your yarn. Doesn't need to be too long. And then you just pull the yarn with your hook like this to secure the stitch. And we will just use a yarn needle so that we can hide the yarn inside the project. You just insert it in the project. It can come out the other side. And then you can just cut your yarn pretty close to the project here. And this is how you do a 3D letter Q. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you soon for another tutorial. Thank you so much for watching.